You're watching Council Wrap-Up. I'm Susan Kennedy. We're here with the top news of the Montgomery County Council for the month of April. Up first, Montgomery County officials came together this month to announce the operating budget for Montgomery County Public Schools will be fully funded. In a broad-reaching collaborative effort, Montgomery County officials have announced the operating budget for Montgomery County Public Schools will be fully funded.
It is a proposal that in many conversations that I have had with County Executive Elrich as well as the superintendent and Ms. Shebra Evans, really stressing the need for us to move forward in this way. I'm pleased to know that through this collaboration, we are able to do this.
Council President Navarro was joined by fellow council members, County Executive Mark Elrich, School Superintendent Jack Smith, and Board President Shebra Evans to announce their support for fully funding the Montgomery County Public Schools budget in fiscal year 2020. The county will invest an additional $5 million in education, money that was made available through the work of county legislators at the state level.
I spent a lot of time in Annapolis this year, and every chance I got and every chance the delegation got, when we came to talking about schools, we raised twin issues. We said we need money for construction and we need money for operations.
Montgomery County Public Schools will make up the rest of the shortfall with savings they have found, which they say will not affect services to students.
Each and every student deserves an equitable pathway to success, and that's what today is about. And I'm here to congratulate the council president and the county executive, everybody else associated with them, because if we didn't work together, we couldn't be here today.
I've always said this is about more than numbers, this is about people. And when we talk about equity in our community, led by our council president, who has said that we at the end of this term will have an equity policy, education is a firm component of that. It is the foundation of true equity. I've seen it from my parents who came from the rural South who were denied access to a quality education, and they came here to ensure that their son would be able to go to a school in which they knew that he would have access to a high quality education.
And officials all agree, funding our schools in a sustainable way is an economic imperative.
We also understand that fully funding our school system is part of a larger and much broader economic development strategy. We know and we are mindful that the quality of our schools is a major draw to the county, and we also have been engaged in conversations about the need to expand our tax base and to be a lot more strategic regarding this. But it's also about ensuring that all of our students have the opportunity to realize their individual potential.
The Education Committee is expected to approve the recommendation this week. Councilmember Evan Glass wants to expand the Kids Ride Free program for Ride-On and Metrobus to include all hours of the day and on weekends. The Ride-On bus corridor that serves Gaithersburg High School is one of the busiest in the county. And dozens of Gaithersburg High School students rely on Ride-On to get them to their destinations after school. The county provides the service for free to students, but the program only runs in the afternoon and early evening hours on weekdays.
So here in Gaithersburg, there are two bus lines that help bring students to school. It's the 55 and 59, and they are the first and third heaviest used bus routes, respectively, in all of the Ride-On system, bringing about 9,500 people throughout the community. So by expanding opportunity and access to those bus routes, we're going to have more students who can get around our community. And here in Gaithersburg, central location to show how important our Ride-On system is. Right here outside Gaithersburg High School, there are dozens of kids who are waiting for the Ride-On bus service, and they're foregoing the MCPS bus because there's a lot of students who don't even take the MCPS bus, and they rely on this bus service after school.
They can get to their job quicker with taking these buses.
Absolutely.
It's especially important for students like Andrew, who is a junior at Gaithersburg High. He told Councilmember Glass extending the hours of the free Ride-On program would be a game changer.
If I had a job, it would be probably very convenient for me, because usually on the weekends, my parents also work on the weekends, and so if I had, let's say, like a part-time job, free like bus rides, that would be like really convenient for me, like super good for me.
Councilmember Glass wants to expand the Kids Ride Free program so students can take Ride-On and 24 Metrobus routes at no cost, all day long and on the weekend.
The Kids Ride Free program currently allows students to get free access to Ride-On and Metrobus between 2 and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And so that means there are students who pay to take the bus in the morning to go to school, and if they are going outside those hours, and especially on weekends, they have to pay their own way. And a lot of students take bus to go to school, they take the bus to care for their families, and they take the bus to go to jobs. And so this is an equity and access issue for them.
High school students have, such a varied schedule. We have students that are starting late because they work in the early morning. They get here in the middle of the day, come in for lunch, and finish out through the school day. We also have students that leave early to do internships and work. And a lot of these students have to pay their own way, or they have to find a way to, their various assignments, whether it's a job or an internship. So, if the program would be able to go through, that would be amazing for all the high school students, not only the Gaithersburg students.
So you're a senior?
Yeah.
And what do you hope to do next year?
I hope to start studying physics.
Oh my God.
Most of the students we spoke to told us they rely on their parents to get them to school in the morning, and that having the option to ride free all day would be helpful and convenient.
Yeah, because sometimes she drops me off before school, so she's a little bit late to work, and that would help a lot.
Basically, right, my mom works in the morning, so she has to drop me off at school, and we'll make sure 30 minutes late for work. So getting free ride in the morning will make me be able to give her more time to be on work.
Councilmember Glass says not only do students need to be able to commute safely across the county, the ability to connect to after-school activities and jobs is important as well. The cost of expansion, $1 million.
Ridership is not at capacity as it is, and so by allowing this service to move forward, we can increase capacity with the level of ridership we already operate, so it wouldn't be a real financial hardship.
I would save more money when it comes to transportation, and because I'm a student also, so saving money is a very important thing for me. I have college coming up, I have to go to college soon, I have college funds, so a free ride-on, that would make such a huge difference in my savings in my pocket.
Recently, Transportation and Environment Committee Chair Tom Hucker met with a group of forward-thinking students who have ideas of their own when it comes to climate change. It's true, students in Montgomery County are some of the best activists
Together we can do something about it.
On issues both local and federal.
Sorry, thank you.
Wow, never been out here. This is cool.
So, when Councilmember Tom Hucker received an invitation to visit with members of Blair High School's Sunrise Movement, he knew he had to accept.
Tom.
The Sunrise Movement is a national group of young people uniting to stop the climate crisis.
So our resolution, for decades, elected officials around the world have used a future that is not theirs to sell as a political bargaining chip. They have seen that climate change is threatening our future, and they have chosen to quietly take fossil fuel money instead and deny it, ignore it, say they'll do something next year.
Graham and the rest of her group invited Councilmember Hucker.
There's nothing more urgent than addressing climate change.
After reading up on his record on the environment, they discussed what's happening at the national level with climate change, as well as other work the council is doing to keep tabs on work here to protect the environment.
Friday, we're doing a big briefing on climate. And we're bringing in our top experts from around the country, multiple agencies. We're bringing in advocates. We're going to have them all sit at the table, and we're going to ask our department heads, what are you doing? And what are your priorities this year? And what are you going to commit to get done in transportation, in building retrofits, and in the Department of Environment as well? What are you doing to reduce carbon?
We're facing a climate emergency.
Hucker has already been working for years at both the state and county level to protect the climate.
We want to use more renewable energy, helping the county meet our goal of eliminating carbon emissions by 2035.
He's been successful in getting 2 bills passed that remove hurdles to more solar throughout the county, and also passed a measure setting up a green jobs apprenticeship program through WorkSource Montgomery.
In the meantime, we ought to be doing everything possible to pass every good policy in Montgomery County. We've always been leaders. We declared a climate emergency last year. We decided we made a commitment to get to carbon free by 2035, which is very difficult. And now, as hard as that was to pass, it's even harder to make that happen. And I'm really hoping to partner with these students and other students around the county to get all that legislation passed as part of a sort of Green New Deal for Montgomery County in the next year or two.
The students at Blair have partnered with the Sunrise Movement group at Bethesda Chevy Chase High School. Both groups are committed to raising awareness at the local level, which they say is imperative to the future.
I think the federal government right now just doesn't realize how important it is and how much everyone across the country supports it. So I think the more that they see that individual local governments, including city governments and county councils supported across the country, I think the more likely they are to realize, like, oh yeah, like this is a really big issue. This is, people all across the country care about this. And seeing that youth are the ones who are leading this and organizing and trying to get these resolutions passed, I think that really helps them understand like how big of an issue this is and how much this really affects our future and how much we're paying attention, and we know what they're doing and we can see that they're not acting and we want them to act.
It's fantastic. It's really inspiring for me, arguments in favor of this from all of you. We have such a vibrant civic culture with such an engaged small d democracy, right? And the students of today learning activism, learning who their council members are, how a bill passes, how the budget is put together. Those are all critical skills that will affect their lives when they rent an apartment, when they buy a home, when they get a job in Montgomery County and become, you know, the full-fledged citizens and voters of the future.
And finally, we visit the Treehouse of Montgomery County, which promotes healing for child victims of physical abuse, sexual abuse, and neglect. There are more than 3 million children who are the victims of child abuse on an annual basis. It's an astonishing statistic. Here in Montgomery County, there is help for those young victims. The Treehouse Child Advocacy Center works to keep children safe from abuse.
I start with the children, and they do open up to me. And I feel very
Dr. Evelyn Shukat is the medical director of the center. She says the children come to them through many different avenues.
Most of them are recommended by Child Protective Services or Special Victims Investigations Division from the police department. But many times local pediatricians all know about us, and this is a medical specialty.
We are going to give you the opportunity to walk through the treehouse like a child does when they are brought here by the authorities for the services that we offer.
The Treehouse provides medical, forensic, and advocacy services, as well as mental health therapy.
Children are afraid to disclose most of the time, so this gives them an opportunity to talk with me. I never wear a white coat. I spend at least 2 hours with each child.
Because from her interview, her forensic interview, I know that she loves the Emoji Movie. I am ready. So I let her know that she's going to put her special gown on.
And then they come and get examined.
Dr. Shukat does a nose-to-toes exam.
And they know immediately about their bodies.
We check every area of her body, too, to make sure that there's no signs of injury or scarring from her physical punishment.
And if necessary, for any safety concerns, ranging from sending them right to the hospital, if they're acutely suicidal or need advanced medical treatment that I cannot provide in this office.
Councilmember Gabe Albornoz chairs the council's Health and Human Services Committee. He says you can't put a price tag on the work the Treehouse Center does.
Treehouse is really a one-stop shop. It provides an opportunity for the children and their families to receive the kind of care that they need to help them work through this very traumatic process, but also to help ensure that we bring those that have perpetrated these terrible crimes to justice.
She'd written a note about the nasty things that her uncle was doing to her. She told me that he had been sexually abusing her for about 3 years.
The Treehouse is a public-private partnership that's supported by the county through grants and contracts. And each year, the organization holds its biggest annual fundraiser, the Tour to Cookie Bike Ride. This event aims to raise awareness of the work the Treehouse does and includes delicious stops along the way.
I really strongly encourage our county residents to come out. It's Public Health Awareness Month coming up, and so this is another opportunity to not just support a great cause, but to really focus on your personal health as community residents and have fun while you're doing it.
To learn more about the May 4th Tour to Cookie and the services the Treehouse Center provides, visit their webpage. Well, that does it for this edition of Council Wrap-Up. For more information about the work of the County Council, you can visit their webpage. I'm Susan Kennedy. Thanks for watching.